It's Mountain Monday, so you know what to do. Breathe in. And out. And breathe in. And out. And yes, you are looking at Uncharted 4. It's come off streaming embargo today and YouTube embargo, so I thought I'd show you guys some of it, considering there are tons of mountains in this game. And the license plate says Elena backwards. I thought that was cute. Or upside down, I guess is more accurate. But this mountain is a volcano right here. And I thought that was appropriate. Also, this is my favorite level in terms of look in this game, and that's saying a lot. This game is beautiful. There is a full written review on leannakersner.com for you guys. That's not what we do here. It is Mountain Monday. I'm not going to hijack it, but check it out on leannakersner.com. Full number-free review, so you can just get what I think and no numeric shortcuts. But I thought it was cool that this mountain is a volcano. I also think these mud physics are cool, but that's neither here nor there. I'm very impressed by this mud. But the reason I thought it was cool to have a volcano is I want to talk about some people's tendency to blow on Twitter. And I'm pivoting from things that are more just me talking to things that are more helpful. And that cut was because Sony has asked us to avoid divulging things like locations of hidden objects. So there was one there that I stumbled on, so I cut it out.
Ready to go.
Once again on Twitter, things turned into a poop storm, or as I like to call it, a garbage fire, because David Scott Jaffe made a comment that he thought a photo from somebody, from this random prom photo, I don't know where it even came from, it went viral on the internet, but he thought it was sexist and everybody freaked out. Now, I will not be talking about that. That will be a topic on this week's Ed and Red podcast. We thought it would be better as a dialogue so we can have both sides of the thing. But I want to talk about here my surprise at just how angry people got. I was really surprised because my thought was, it's his opinion.
Hey Nathan, check out that cave there.
I'll spare you guys my other thoughts. Listen to the podcast if you're interested. But at the end of the day, whether I agree or whether I disagree, it's his opinion. And we really have to wonder why we're so darn threatened by people's opinions. Well, that comes down to
that was fun.
Emotional resiliency and the ability to handle stressful situations. Because for some people, the very mention of sexism is stressful. It is. Thing is it's pretty important. And people shouldn't be afraid to say things when they feel like they have cause for concern. Now, there are better and worse ways to say things, for sure. But that's not what we're talking about right here. We're talking about, our own reactions to things and whether we're spending an unnecessary amount of emotional energy.
I got mud in my mouth.
Stressing about this stuff.
Stop!
Explosion. And this is what happens on Twitter. And so what's interesting to me about this whole thing is not the two sides or lack of anything. It's how big one person's opinion of a photograph got. And the reasons are varied. We're still unpacking them. This game is very controversial because you shoot mercenaries, and I still can't get my head around that. But I come from a place of emotional resiliency. Something can be challenging, but not personally affect me. That doesn't mean that nothing should ever bother anyone. Everyone has feelings, everyone has sensitivities, and everyone is more resilient on certain topics than others. That is just human nature. No one has perfect emotional resiliency, but it can get better. And it's connected to this thing called an internal locus of control, which is basically the idea that you do have some control over your destiny, for lack of a better term. Now, a guy like Nathan Drake, he thinks he can do practically anything. And it sometimes gets him into trouble, but it's a fun kind of trouble for the purposes of the game. And the reason an internal locus of control helps you stay more chill in stressful situations is because people get stressed when they feel like they're out of control. Control is important for equilibrium. And I think a lot of people in gaming right now have lost the sense that they have control, which is a real problem in an entertainment medium which is all about player control. But they've lost control because they feel like their games are changing to suit critics that care more about a societal agenda than games. And whether that's true or not is kind of besides the point here. We've talked about that in other segments. I have the Gamer's Guide to Feminism to address those issues. But what I want to deal with today is why it's very, very important to retain emotional equilibrium, during times that could be upsetting, why emotional resilience is important. And I have to wonder what it's doing collectively to people to be this upset this often because of Twitter things. That's not healthy. And, the immediate thing people will say is take breaks, get off Twitter, mental health, all that stuff. No, there's a way to engage in these things without losing it, for lack of a better term. There's a way of engaging in these things with emotional resilience. And part of it is to keep a sense of humor about things. And there's a lot of pretty humorless people driving the dialogue. I know that's not the easiest thing in the world, but it is important.
You have that dungus hooked up yet?
And
we're all set up. Just waiting on approval from Nadine to blow.
How do we do that? One of the things I want to try to do with a pivot to Mental Health Mondays on Mountain Mondays is give people a actual things that they can do, because one of the things that's been a very pleasant surprise to me is the fact that people are actually doing the Mountain Monday breathing in stressful situations. And that's very humbling. And I think because Mountain Mondays kind of have a sense of humor about themselves, it's easier for people. Uh-oh.
What was that?
Run, don't get spotted. Hide. It's easier for people to kind of engage with the material because it's not high pressure.
Over there. Nothing here.
And that frame of mind is exactly the beginning to finding your own tactics for emotional resilience. And there's this idea that some people are naturally stronger than others, some people, and that it may seem to be the case because some people start with better nurturing, they start with better grounding. If you have more money, if you're born into more money, obviously you have a greater sense of control over your environment, because money is control, money is power. If you have supportive parents, it's easier to feel like you have a sense of control over things. If you, have various opportunities, if you're gainfully employed, all these things contribute to emotional resilience. So some of it is situational. Don't beat yourself up if, you can't get good right away on this point. But what you can do is have a sense of humor about things. That's the thing you absolutely can control, as well as emotional awareness. And this, to me, is a very important element. And it's connected to having that sense of humor, because I think without emotional awareness, you can't really have a well-developed sense of humor that isn't embedded in hurting people. And emotional awareness is basically not just recognizing you're feeling something, but really having a grasp on why you're feeling that thing. And this is a learned skill. It is not something that people have naturally. And it can be tough. It can be a difficult thing to develop. Understanding yourself is a lifelong process. It doesn't happen overnight. And it does get easier as you age. And these guys are not very aware, but that's okay. It benefits me. I am playing this on moderate difficulty, guys, so it's not like I'm playing on easy mode. Mercenaries are just dumb in this game. But the first step is really understanding yourself, because I don't think you can understand other people in a significant way without understanding yourself first. And I understand that I find things like this very fun. I like my explosions. But see, I understand that about myself. And so when someone starts saying that the Uncharted games glorify violence and that Nathan Drake is this horrible character because he kills people, I can laugh and go, no, I just like watching things explode, which is why it doesn't bother me overly much. And that's pretty much the cycle of emotional resilience right there. I understand why I like these games. So I'm not as bothered when someone misidentifies or generalizes the reasons that people in the abstract may like these games. I just like these games because it's like playing Indiana Jones. And as somebody who really loved Indiana Jones and really likes historical tourism, you know, I'm not threatened by the idea that some people think that, you know, my brain is being warped and corrupted by the Uncharted games. That's an absurd concept to me, but because it's absurd, I see no need to get terribly upset about it. And that's emotional resilience in a nutshell. Does it irritate me sometimes that people are so humorless about these things? Sure it does, but that's again emotional awareness and empathy kicking in and helping defuse the situation. Because really, I don't have to fight these people. In fact, it's a waste of time for me to fight these people, because somebody who can't see the joy in a game like this, I don't need to fight with them. They're not especially happy people. And debating someone so joyless is not going to come to a good place, because of the fact that they're not. There's this whole concept of arguing in good faith, and someone who is not emotionally at peace with a subject can't do that. They're too invested. They're going to fight to the death. And agreeing to disagree and still not just respecting somebody but liking them on a point is what you get when you're emotionally resilient. There are some things that I will not tolerate, and this is about boundaries, and this is probably going to be the next Mountain Monday topic, boundaries, because the two big fundamentals of mental health for me are emotional resilience and boundaries. Everything else is either an offshoot of these two things or an actual chemical issue that no amount of thinking around, no amount of consciousness or presence or anything like that is going to do anything about. If you have a chemical imbalance, you need medications that will rebalance your brain chemistry. And there's a lot of debate still about whether it's mind over matter. Can you rewire your brain chemistry? Not in the short term. And so I don't want anybody to think that these sort of mindfulness exercises I'm giving people are an alternative to actual professional help. It's not. Professional help for people who are really in crisis is super, super important, because that's one-on-one targeting the specifics of your situation. But that aside, I think that because it's a lifelong thing to become more emotionally resilient and develop better boundaries, and empathy is such a huge element of that, this is something we can talk about and do something really useful. I think a lot of the discussion of mental health these days is a collection of platitudes and is lacking solutions in a meaningful way. Oh, there's a bridge up here. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to do the same thing. I want to show either examples, like I did with the Uncharted thing, about why I really, I find it interesting to discuss with people why they have their opinions of Nathan Drake and company that they do, but it's not going to change my mind about whether or not I like this game. Whoa! Oh, yay, winch.
Jesus,
I
these
love
pirates
winching.
really need to work on their infrastructure.
Now how do we get out of here?
But that isn't the same. Me enjoying a healthy debate is not the same as me having an unhealthy investment in the outcome of that debate. A healthy debate is something you're going into to learn from, not to win. If you're going in invested in winning an exchange of ideas, I don't know how much you can really absorb. You're not in an emotionally resilient place, or some people call it a risk immune state. That's another topic you can look up, another terminology. But I really think that the dialogue.
Slip and slide.
I love this mud. I love the mud in this game. I love you, mud. My general rule of thumb for emotional resilience is when I stop finding something fun, like this mud.
The rape's got the advantage.
The ones we're having on the internet, the ones I'm talking about, are not essential discussions. There are ones for work that do involve preparation and do involve sort of steps and there are things you can do to put yourself in a better place going into a difficult situation, but sometimes you do catch off guard, and sometimes you do have an emotional response. And the first step, I find, is not beating yourself up over having an emotional response. I found when I was younger, because I am a logical person, I am very intellectually oriented, I much prefer to sort of lay out the facts than go by feels. I would really beat myself up when I did have feelings and I did have an emotional response to things. And so, I mean, the challenge for intellectual people like me.
Okay, here we go.
This joke.
And he's got the steering wheel sticking out.
This
of his
is one of
crotch.
Ed the Sock's
All right.
favorite
So
jokes,
the bartender
guys.
goes, "Hey man, what's with the wheel?" And the pirate says back, "Arg, it's driving
I
me
can't believe
nuts."
this is in this game. I can't believe it.
I love that one.
Don't make me leave you out here.
Yeah. One of Ed the Sock's favorite jokes, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, so as I was saying, the challenge for intellectual, introverted people who aren't super comfortable expressing anything in public, never mind emotions, it's embarrassing when we finally do let something slip. I don't like it. And the first step to emotional resiliency for me is not beating myself up when I do express feelings and they do come out. Because that's when, and here's the big tie-in, that's when the mountain turns into a volcano, when at least I try to tamp it all down instead of just saying human beings have feelings, and those feelings are there for a reason. And if we have a healthy relationship with our feelings, they can really be excellent guides
Can't jump that high.
for what to do next, making good choices, making choices that are not only beneficial to us, but also that are presented, I guess I gotta go around the outside, also are presented in a way
Maybe use the
that is
car.
well received
Just a suggestion.
by other people. And so that's my first step. That's sort of my, and it may seem strange to people that you can have greater mastery over your feelings by allowing yourself to feel, but it really is that, right? I mean, if you stick your finger in something and water pressure keeps building up, or pressure keeps, you're eventually going to get that explosion. But if you channel the flow, if you tell it where to go, well, then everything stays chill, right? And that's what we're all about with Mountain Mondays, as well as showing off really pretty mountains. And there's so many mountains in this game.
We ain't got no auto club.
I am going to get so much mileage out of this. So let's close off with our emotional resiliency segment. Breathe in. And out. And breathe in. And out.